Hey everybody, this is Howard Kalin, that bearded, good-looking lead singer of the Turtles, and who better to qualify for the Rock and Roll Geek Show than yours truly? That's what you're going to be listening to. You might even be listening to it right now. Fellow geeks, unite in rock.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Thursday, September 21st, 2017, and it is 6:27 p.m. when I'm recording this episode. Have not done a show since the last day of the Dog Days of Podcasting. It's been almost a month, and honestly, the thought did cross my mind to not do one again, but I am here, and I am back, and they can't stop me, Okay. All right. I may be shunned from the rock podcast community, but I am staying, friends. All right. So tonight, it's great to be back, seriously, friends, and I hope you are still with me. Tonight, I'm going to be doing just about all vinyl on the show, so I might as well play this song.
And now, it's time for the Rock and Roll Geek Vinyl Track of the Week.
All right, everything I'm going to be playing tonight, or just about everything, is going to be on vinyl. So I'm going to have to break out the record player, open up channel 7 and 8 on the Mackie Onyx 1220 mixer. And I'm going to start off with a 7-inch that was given to me at the thing in Nashville by a friend of the show, Michael Street, who co-hosted with me. Still have not posted his episode yet. I'm kind of letting this the heat cool down a little bit before I post any more episodes from that thing. Because if you've been listening to Mad at Dad, you know that your friend Michael Butler is whatever. Okay. So Michael Street, turns out, I had a feeling that he was a really cool guy, and it turns out he's a way cooler guy than I even imagined. We hung out for at least 2 days when I was at that thing, and we had a really good time. He's a really cool dude, and hopefully I can consider him a close friend now. Michael Street, if you ever get out to San Francisco, you got a place to crash, my friend. Contrary to popular belief, I am not a bad guy. All right. So he brought me this really cool piece of vinyl. It is a 7-inch on white vinyl. The original Alice Cooper group, the reunion show that took place at Good Records during a Dennis Dunaway book signing. They played, it was Alice Cooper, Dennis Dunaway, Neil Smith, Michael Bruce, and taking the place of Glenn Buxton was Ryan Roxy from the current band. I saw a Facebook streamer or a Periscope or something like that live stream that Joy Rock and Roll did when this thing was happening, and it looked great. Well, they actually recorded the show and they put out for Record Store Day a 2-song single that I actually looked for this thing on Record Store Day. Could not find it. It was nowhere to be found in the store I went to. But Michael Street did find it, and it's even number 1916. I think 2,000 of these things were pressed total. So, Michael Street, thank you so much for this. This is what I'm going to start off the show. Mostly vinyl tonight. I think just about everything is going to be vinyl tonight from my record collection. So, to start off the show, let me take a sip of this fine Tecate, the second one of the day, always the best. 2 songs on this vinyl are, the B-side is 18, and the A-side is It My Body? So I'm going to play Is It My Body for you. See if I can get this thing going here. Let's see if it will drop on the beginning of the song. There it is. All right? Here we go!
Oh, okay. We haven't done this one in about, 40 years, but we'll do it. What have I got that makes you want to love me? Now is it my body or something I might be, or something inside me? Yeah. You better tell me, it's really up to you. Have you got the time to find out who I really am? Ow. What does it take to get inside of your mind? Give me a break, yeah, and take a chance for the very first time. I'd rather tell me, it's really up to you. Have you got the time to find out who I really am? Yeah. What have I got that makes you want to love me? Now is it my fabulous body or something I might be, or something inside me? You better tell me, it's really up to you. Have you got the time to find out who I really am?
All right, there you go. For some reason, the 45 does not play all the way to the end on my record player. I don't know what it is, but thank you, Michael Street, for this fabulous piece of vinyl anyway. It's my record player, not the vinyl. It's played before, but it's not playing now. Oh, well. All right. Now comes the part of the show that is very important to me. It may not be important to you, but it is important to me, and this is the donation segment. There are several ways you can donate to the show. First of all, if you don't have any money to donate, I totally understand. But if you buy stuff on Amazon, all you got to do is click the link at rockandrollgeek.com. And first of all, let me play some music in the background here. How about brand new Foo Fighters? I have not heard this yet.
I don't want to be king. I just wanna sing.
All right, you can click the Amazon link. The Foo Fighters record is called Concrete and Gold, by the way. Click the Amazon link, and if you're purchasing anything on Amazon, maybe something that's a high-ticket item, I'll get a nice kickback. Get a low-ticket item, like a bottle of shampoo or something, I'll get a small kickback. Either way, if you click the link on Amazon, the Amazon link on Rock and Roll Geek. Oh, hey! On rockandrollgeek.com. I will get a kickback, and it is much appreciated, friends. You can also go to patreon.com/RNRGeek, and every episode, I will get another kickback. Like Daniel Segan, who donates $5 every episode. By the way, the Dog Days of Podcasting, not one, there were no charged episodes, so nobody got charged anything. But Daniel Segan, when you do get charged, Daniel Segan pays $5. Thank you, Daniel Segan. I really appreciate it, friend. Let me take a sip of this fine Tecate to you. Sounds like Foo Fighters or Dave Grohl doing his Paul McCartney record. Thank you to Michael Street, friend of the show, and now friend of mine, for the $5 every episode. Thank you, Michael Street. Thank you to Ken Kennedy, who participated in the Dog Days of Podcasting for the $5 every episode. Thank you to my good friend, my very, very, very good friend, Chiaki Hinohara of the Metal Moment Podcast and the Japanese Metalhead Show, $5 every episode on Patreon. Thank you to Brian Springer for the $5. Thank you to my podcast mentor and co-host of Mad at Dad, Dave Slusher. Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival is coming is coming in a few weeks. It is this event. Well, Dave Slusher's coming down that weekend, and we're going to go see Cheap Trick together at the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival. Hardly Strictly was this guy who, this philanthropist guy who really liked music, and before he died, he left a lot of money to put on these things every year called the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival. Like 5 stages in Golden Gate Park. And it is the only event in Golden Gate Park, the music event, that they let you bring coolers of beer in. And the whole thing is free. There's no gates or anything, and Cheap Trick is playing it. And Dave Slusher will be in town, so we're going to go see Cheap Trick together at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. Thank you to Betty Wood for the $3 every episode. Thank you to Mario Zoth for the $2 every episode. Thank you to Bruce McMillan for the $2 every episode. Thanks to Matthew Hunt for the $2. Thanks to Eric Stoll for the $2. Thanks to Robert Harvey for the $2. Thanks to Mike Dixon for the $1. Thanks to John Richardson for the $1 every episode. And thanks to Corey Kohler for the $1 every episode. Another way to donate to the show is you can go to rockandrollgeek.com and click the PayPal link. Like Jeff C.A. did. He donates $5. Thank you to Alex James. Let me see what else we can find here about this. Thanks to Jeff C.A. for the $5. Thanks to Alex James Muscat for the $5. Thanks to Eric Lentz for the $5. Thanks to Dean Gillespie for the $5. Thanks to James Venners for the $10. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. This is not that bad. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. Thanks to my first girlfriend, Elodie Johns, for the $20. Excuse me. Thanks to Deborah Dreyfus, if that's your real name, for the $2. Thanks to Richard Fusey for the $2. Thanks to Dale Roller for the $2. For the $5. Thanks to Richard Strom for $5. Thanks to Andrew Howe for the $5. Thanks to Jason Shepard for the $10. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell again for another $5. Thanks to Jer O'Carroll for the $5. Thanks to Christopher Del Grande for the $5. Thanks to Todd Cunningham, friend of the show and friend of mine, for the $10. I need to take a breath and a sip of this fine Tecate. Thanks to John Offenlock for the $5. Thanks to Lassie Satvenhagen for the $2. Thanks to Stephen Mascord for the $5. Stephen Mascord also sent me this book that he wrote called Touchstones, Rugby League Rock and Roll, The Road in Me. And there's a chapter in it where he visits his friend Michael Butler in San Francisco. Thank you, Steve Mascord. Thanks to John Skiller for the $2. Thanks to Bradley Lisco for the $10. Thanks to Sigmund Heidacher for the $5. Thanks to Brett Garsky for the $10. Thanks to Ralph Miller for the $10. Friend of the show and friend of mine. Thanks to Craig Vasiloff for the $5. Thanks to Bradford Page, who was at the thing in Nashville. He sat down and did a few minutes with the Rock and Roll Geek Show. I'll be posting that eventually as well. Thanks to Dave Jackson and the School of Podcasting for the $10. Thanks to John Baveri for the $5. Thanks to Peter Spark for the $5. Thanks to friend of the show Michael Mack for the $2. Thanks to Jeff and Sherry Thielalaki for the $10. Thanks to Paul Fondery for the $10. Thanks to Adrian Boschrock on the forums and the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page, which I did not create, but I do approve people, for the $2. Thanks to John Tennis for the $5. Thanks to Greg Long for the $5. And thank you to Dave Franco for the $10. Thanks to everybody who donated. Without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled, being tied to a wall at the Rockin' Pod Expo and stoned and gassed by every other rock podcaster in the world kind of death. Like Adam Curry says, this is a value-for-value model. If you think the show is worth some money, donate what you can, friends. If you don't, it's okay. You can still listen to it for free. I just appreciate you being here, friends. We need the Rock and Roll Geek community now more than ever. All right. No. Enough Foo Fighters. Not really my thing, but Dave Grohl trying to keep rock and roll alive, so kudos to him for that. All right, another Vinyl of the Week track. Do I need to play this? Do I really need to? I don't have to, but I could.
And now, it's time for the Rock and Roll Geek Vinyl Track of the Week.
Okay, so when I was gone, put the Alice Cooper thing back in here. When I was gone, my Cheap Trick vinyl from Pledge Music finally arrived. And it looks better than I was expecting. It looks a lot better on 12-inch vinyl than it does on the little image on the Pledge Music page. It is Cheap Trick, We're All Right. It's a fold-out gatefold, tons of pictures, classic pictures and current pictures. And it is the deluxe edition on Big Machine Records. Still have not seen any non-deluxe editions anywhere of anything. But I'm going to play my favorite song from this record. Let me stand up here and find the vinyl here. Make sure it's on 33 1/3 since the Alice Cooper was on 45. All right. This song is called Like a Fly. Let's see if I drop it right. Okay. Like a Fly.
I can just hear the
There you go. Cheap Trick. Vinyl finally arrived. Okay. Now, I got a few show reviews, 2 or 3, I think. So I'm going to find one, play it now. Let's see if I can find. Hello, caller. Who is this?
Hello, Michael Butler. This is the old guy at the show.
Hey, old guy at the show.
Or you could call me Brett Varsky.
Hey, Brett Varsky.
Calling in with a show review of The Living End.
You know, the Living End.
Played at
the Living End played. The Butlers had a gig last Friday in Albany, and I went fishing right from the gig. I talked about this on Mad at Dad, but the Living End played Slim's last week, the same night. Oh, you know what? I'm putting this Cheap Trick thing back in. There is a vinyl. There is a lyric sheet. Oh, that's nice. Oh, look at there. It's even got album credits, everything. Thanks. Oh, I'm going to have to give this Cheap Trick, We're All Right, a better look. Sorry to interrupt you, old guy at the show. Let me rewind it. Anyway, the Living End played the same night the Butlers played in Albany, and I missed them. I saw the Living End last time they came to San Francisco, and they were fantastic. They were absolutely fantastic.
Hello, Michael Butler. This is the old guy at the show.
Hey, old guy at the show. And yes, I am aware that I am having a conversation with my voicemails, and yes, that's what I do. Be it stupid or not, it's what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it, friends. Because I like talking to my voicemails. I would rather talk to a voicemail than have to take a call in person, because what if I don't get any calls when I ask for calls and live on the show? That would make me look bad. But enough of that. Back to you, old guy at the show. I prefer talking to a voicemail anyway, because I just do.
With a show review of The Living End. They played at the Marquis Theater in Denver, Colorado on 9/7/17. It was a Thursday night. I think this might be the place that you came with Jet Boy a few years ago. I could be wrong, but they sell pizza out front, so the whole place kind of smells like oregano. It seats about 500 people. It didn't quite sell out, but it was a pretty packed crowd. It was like a $20 ticket, so it was a great deal to see, these great Australian rockers. I know you like the Australian rockers.
Yes,
so
even though
you've talked about The Living End.
Even though Chris Chaney now lives in L.A., I think.
I saw them first on the Aussie Invasion Tour in 2004. They were opening up for the Vines, who have that hit Ride, and Jet, who have that hit Are You Gonna Be My Girl. They opened up for both those bands, and the bands had a hard time because
Chris Chaney's a monster guitar player.
Blew them off the stage before those bands were on the stage, so it was a hard act to follow. I remember Chris Chenley. He's the lead of the rockabilly / punk band. He took this open beer bottle, used it as a slide.
Yes.
So it was full, so the beer was just flying over splattering the crowd everywhere, and he was doing this fancy slide work all over the place. He's an amazing guitar player.
Beyond
and then when
amazing.
He was done with the solo, he handed it to this kid that was, I don't know, probably about 15, that was in the front row, which the kid probably became a fan for life after that. And after I saw them, I've always liked the band. So flash forward 17 years, and they're at the Marquis. But before they started, two Denver bands opened up for them. First was King Rat. They've been around the Denver area for over 2 decades. They play, just basic punk songs. Some are pretty funny. One's about his anger of all the transplants from California coming to Colorado, and it's called Go Back to California. I'm sure some punk bands have some songs in California about people in Denver. But anyway, they're pretty funny, and they have an album coming out, so those guys just keep on going. A crowd favorite, this punk duo called In the Whale, they were next. It's just 2 guys, one playing guitar, one drums, just raw sound. They have songs about Evel Knievel, galaxies, and lakes on fire. It's a very loud, aggressive music, but it's kind of done with a sense of humor. Eric Riley, the drummer, was singing the Golden Girls theme song out of nowhere for a while, so that showed, just how funny they are. The crowd loved him. One guy that was standing right behind me, he bought one of the skateboards they were selling, and he was confessing to everybody he doesn't even skate, but he was just so happy that they signed it for him. So I guess never underestimate the combination of music and commerce. So so after those bands played, The Living End came out right around 10 o'clock, and so Chris Chenley came out.
Chris Chaney is his name.
Around 42 years old now. Looks like he's dyeing his hair black, so he kind of looks a little bit like Billy Joel from Green Day. But they're an amazing band. I don't think the drummer is original, but he's an amazing drummer.
I think it's the same drummer that they had last
just
time.
Right, which is, I think it's pretty hard for a punk band to, it's so fast, and then when they have the drumming that's just so exact, and the fills are just perfect. It's I think it just drives the music. I just think the drumming and the punk and punk band just
they are
drives
so far beyond
amazing,
a punk rock band.
Along with Chris Chenley, of course. They started out with just some of their hits, but they did also played some slower songs. I think one of them was called With Enemies Like That. It's just about cruising around in your car, listening to an 8-track, and just reminiscing about the past. And after he was done with that, Chris Chenley said that was a song for all the lovers. And then he started screaming, "Now here's a song for all the haters." And that's when he played Monday. That song's about a 1996 massacre in Scotland in an elementary school, and the crowd just went crazy. Arms are flying, and hands, and it just looked like everyone was jumping up and down to that song. They came back and played Buddy Holly's "That'll Be the Day." It was like a flawless version. Showed how talented that band is, and that's a perfect song. If you listen to that again, it's it's a pretty perfect song, Buddy Holly's is. And then towards the end, they played "Prisoners of Society," and that's what the crowd chanting. "We don't want no one to tell us what to do." So of course the punk crowd loved that. And then they soon left. It was just a great show. It's amazing how those guys are just keep on going, and they're just getting better. So if you want to read a written version of the show review, you could find it. I write a blog called Old Guy at the Show. You can find it under at mydenvermusic.blogspot.com. You could see pictures I take at the show under my Instagram account, and it's under Old Guy at the Show. And you could see me tweet about the shows, and that is Old Guy at the Show as well. So that's where you could find me, and I hope you stay frosty.
All right, stay frosty, Old Guy at the Show. I will post a link to his blog on the show notes at rockandrollgeek.com. All right, they have a new album, or it's not new. It's been out a little while. Old Guy at the Show sent me this song, "Up the Junction." I already have the album. I played "Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun" a while back. I'm going to play this one that he sent me. This song is called Shift. No, excuse me. The record is called Shift. This song is called "Up the Junction." This is the only one I'm going to play on the show that is not vinyl, because I don't have this on vinyl. But here's "Up the Junction" from The Living End.
Control yet again.
There you go. Living End. Great band. If they're coming to your town, do yourself a favor and go see him. You will see one of the greatest guitar players around. The guy is hailed as a guitar hero in Australia and living in Los Angeles now, I think. I saw him play with Dead Men Walking at this place called Brick and Mortar a couple of years ago, too. They had the guy from The Alarm, the singer for The Alarm, Slim Jim Phantom on drum, or is that his name? Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats on drums, and Captain Sensible from the Damned on bass. What a show that was, man. It was supergroup, punk rock supergroup. That was great. But go see The Living End if you can, because they are well worth it. One of the greatest live bands. The bass player is a ripping bass player. He plays a stand-up bass, and he tears it up. Such a good band. I've interviewed those guys like maybe 2 or 3 times back in the old days when Shane was producing the show. All right, another audio comment.
Michael, Todd Cunningham here.
Hey, Todd.
Friend of the show.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm super great. Couldn't be better.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
I'm doing good as well.
I was wondering how
giving a show review from the
Yes, I'm having a conversation with a voicemail.
View Music Festival that was on the 12th of August. The concert was...
Is that the one Dawkins played?
At a guy's house in Oakdale. So at this time it was really hot. So it was probably at least 100 degrees the whole day. The concert started around 1, ended around 11 o'clock. The first group was Separate Ways, a Journey tribute band.
Huh, okay.
It sounded good. The lead singer didn't have much charisma. They played the big hits, Separate Ways, Just the Same Way,
Just
Lights,
the Same Way
Open
She
Arms,
Loves You.
Who's Crying Now, Stone in Love, Don't Stop Believing. Of course, you have to play that song.
Of course.
Wheel in the Sky, Loving, Touching, Squeezing.
Feather, which is playing Saturday in Pacifica. We're playing in the daytime. It's the Fog Fest, and I believe one of the songs we're going to be playing is "Wheel in the Sky," which we used to play. We're playing a wedding, so we have to. And the woman, we're not playing a wedding this Saturday, but the weekend after we're playing a wedding, and the person at that's having the wedding picked our set list for us. We gave her a list of every song that we've ever played, and Wheel in the Sky was one of them, and just about every song she picked was songs that we don't play anymore, so we have to relearn all of these songs. So in order to practice for this wedding that we're getting paid handsomely for, we're going to play a lot of songs that we haven't played in a long time at the Fog Fest, and one of those is Journey, Wheel in the Sky. Okay.
Any way you want it.
Any way
like
you
I
want
said, they
it.
sounded good. The lead singer, not so great. As far as charisma.
Okay.
Next was Fall of Silence. They were a typical rock band. Good, not great. Dee Snider's kid, Jesse, joined them for a couple songs.
Huh, okay.
He was kind of obnoxious in a lead singer way like his dad is. He had a friend of his that was a magician that hung out in front of the stage. He had a top hat on, blue hair. At first, I kind of thought it was Jesse. Until I saw him. This guy was kind of a douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of mine took a picture with Jesse. And
most magicians who wear top hats, that's probably, I would say, that 90% of those guys are douchebags. Okay.
His friend had to get into the picture with Jesse, and that happened every day. Not every day, sorry, all day. Okay. That everybody tried to take a picture with Jesse. This guy joined him. It was kind of sad. Maybe he got paid to take pictures with him or something. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Next was my best friend Tom's band, TMR, which is The Madness Remains. You've met Tom before at one of your Livermore shows with the Butlers.
Okay. I think I do, yes.
Like I said, it was hot all day. They played at 3:30, so it was at least 100 degrees. They're an 80s, 90s cover band. They played Enter Sandman, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Bark at the Moon, Rocky Mountain Way, the Godsmack version, Rock Candy, Got Another Thing Coming, Man in the Box, and Modern Day Cowboy, the Tesla song. Okay. And then next, Eddie Trunk was there. He showed up on stage, was telling him, that he was there and blah, blah, blah. I know how you feel about Eddie.
I have nothing against Eddie Trunk. Actually, I listened to his show on Volume on Sirius, and I actually like his show. And the guy he drops a lot of names. He says a lot of the same things over and again. Anything I have against Eddie Trunk is all because I am jealous and wish I had his job. But I think the guy is his aim is true, so to speak. He really does love rock and roll, and he doesn't really bullshit around it. So I have nothing against Eddie Trunk, especially after what I've been through the past month. I think Eddie Trunk is a consummate pro. Okay.
Next was supposed to be this group called the Killer Bees. They were from Sweden. The singer was there, but the rest of the band had somehow got stuck coming into the States. So he didn't have a backup band, but my friend Tom, his bass player and the drummer, joined him, and then the guitar player from Fall of Silence joined him, and he did, typical covers. He did a whole lot of love.
I guess that means if he performed his contractual duties, so he probably got paid, right?
Company songs, so typical kind of stuff. It was all great. It was, all right. Nothing to be excited about.
So
Next
far,
was the
cover
Bullitt
bands.
Boys.
Bullitt Boys, huh?
Not much of a Bullitt Boys fan. Don't really know much about their stuff. I know
American Heartbreak played a gig with the Bullitt Boys many years ago in San Jose, and after American Heartbreak set, the Bullitt Boys were backstage getting ready for their set, and they got into a fist fight backstage before they even played.
From the first album, they played Smooth Up In Ya, and they do a cover of OJ's song For the Love of Money. Lead singer, to me, I kind of thought it was an axe. He was just telling us to sing and stand up and, kind of be obnoxious. Some of the songs were Hard as a Rock, Hang on St. Christopher. There was a Tom Waits cover, THC Groove. The guitar player, man, he was obnoxious. He was kind of like whacking off on his guitar. He was hitting against the speakers and then hitting against the microphone stand. Just obnoxious. I didn't like him.
Sounds like me.
So I was kind of glad that they were done. So next was Warrant. I wasn't a big fan of Warrant. Had never seen him before. But Robert Mason is singing with them now. He used to sing with Lynch Mob.
Yes.
He was a very good singer. He was really good at they played Down Boys, the title track for Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. They played Heaven, of course, and
Cherry Pie.
They have a new album that came out, so they played a couple songs from that, from Louder, Harder, Faster. They played Home. I'm sorry. One of the songs they played for NASCAR. It was a cover of a Merle Haggard song. I think I'll Stay Here and Drink, which was pretty good. I'd heard the song before, and it was a nice little rocking version. They played Uncle Tom's Cabin, and of course they ended with Cherry Pie. Was surprised, real glad to say I saw them. And next, which I was looking forward to, was Queensryche. I'm assuming you're probably not much of a Queensryche fan.
Not really, no.
But I was excited to see him. Haven't seen him with the new singer, Todd, before, but I was excited because I knew with his younger voice they could play some of the songs.
I saw them open for Scorpions.
Probably can't sing anymore. They opened with the song Guardian from their latest album, Human Condition. They played Operation Mindcrime. They played The Best I Can from the album Empire. They played Damage from Promised Land. The Killing Words from Rage for Order. The Mission again from Operation Mindcrime. Surgical Strike for Rage from Order. Silent Lucidity, of course, from Empire, their biggest hit that most people have heard of.
Yes, I'm not singing any of these songs because I don't know any
Operation Mindcrime. Empire, the title track from Empire.
Don't know it.
Queen of the Reich from their first EP. Jet City Woman from Empire.
I think I know that one.
Revolution Kong from Operation Mindcrime.
Don't know it.
Screaming in Digital.
Don't know
and then
it.
they ended the show with Eyes of a Stranger.
Don't
I was
know
quite
it.
impressed. Hadn't seen Queensryche in probably maybe 10 years at least. And like I said, I hadn't seen Todd LaTorre sing with him, and he sounded really good. It was cool to hear the older songs from Rage for Order and the first EP. So that's it, Michael. Hopefully you enjoy this, and talk to you later.
All right, thank
Stay
you, Todd.
frosty,
Coming
pal.
in. Stay frosty, friend. You too can leave me a show review or audio comment here, and I will have a conversation with you. Area code 706-621-ROCK, or you can do like he did, record it on your phone and email it to me to rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. I have another show review. Let's play.
Hey, Michael Butler, how you doing?
I'm super great. Couldn't be better.
Excellent. This is Rock and Roll Zach with a
Hey,
show
Zach.
report. I went to see Jethro Tull live at Interlaken in Michigan. the
Now,
other
is
night.
it Jethro Tull, or is it just Ian Anderson playing by himself or with his own band?
This is a nice covered outdoor venue at a music school, and it has a capacity of about 5,000 people. And it was pretty full of aging boomer ex-hippie types there to hear a lot of classic rock this summer. One side note, Interlaken is actually a dry venue, which is a bit of a bummer. But I did have a nice cold beer in the parking lot beforehand, and it tasted great.
Good.
This
I would
is the
have more
latest
than one.
incarnation of Jethro Tull, a band that's been around for 49 years. And I think he's cycled through 25 or 28 different band members. The only original band member is Ian Anderson,
Okay,
the
so
flautist,
it's Ian-
vocalist,
it's Ian
songwriter,
Anderson,
guitar
okay.
player, who really is the genius
Yes.
of Jethro Tull. Martin Barr, his longtime
No
guitar
longer
player, is
playing,
no
right?
longer with him,
That's
and
right.
instead he's got a bunch of young hired guns.
Okay.
It is an incredibly tight band, and they played fantastic. I'm not the biggest Tull fan, but growing up in the 70s, I'm certainly aware of all this.
My first album I ever owned was Jethro Tull Aqualong. I think, didn't I do a classic albums on this?
A lot
Maybe I
of those
didn't.
classic songs, starting with Living in the Past, Nothing is Easy, Heavy Horses, Thick
Yes.
as a Brick. A couple of newer songs that were okay, but still interesting. They did several instrumental
open up
songs,
a
including
Tecate while
Bourrée,
he's
which
talking.
is Johann Sebastian jazzed up a little bit, which was fun. A toccata fugue with a melting guitar solo. I mean, it was just incredible. As a guitar player, it makes you want to weep or throw out all your instruments or something. I was just pretty amazing. Also, Dharma for One with a tremendous drum solo. And I'm not usually a big drum solo guy, but this was really, really cool. Overall, it was a very good show, but I gotta say, one element makes it a bit of a mixed bag, which is, you probably know, Ian Anderson's vocals are pretty shot.
I didn't know that.
He really
He used
wore
to be
out
great.
his voice in the 80s, probably from just too much touring or whatever, and he can't really hit the range that he had. It's,
Well, he never really had a high range, did he? He sang pretty much a mid-range, whatever you call
it
it.
just sounds very
Tenor.
strained at times. And on a couple of songs, like Aqualung, he had a video feed of somebody, Ryan O'Donnell, singing some of the vocals.
Huh.
And I
What
think
the hell?
that's a bit on the cheesy side. Like, if he wants to have Ryan O'Donnell on tour with him,
I don't know who
think
that
would
is.
be great. But playing it as a video seemed a little bit in the Milli Vanilli territory. Nonetheless, they did a great job on Aqualung. I shot a video of that. It's on guitarvibe.com if anyone wants to see it. I think that's got one of the greatest guitar solos
Yes, it
of
does.
all time.
Yes, it does.
And for anyone who's a fan of classic rock, if you get a chance to see Jethro Tull, I'm sure it's not as good as it was in the 70s, but it was still a pretty good concert. Here's a short audio clip I recorded from the video.
Voice sounds good to me. It's a great guitar solo. It really is a great solo. All right, why don't we play, since I got my vinyl out, let's play something from Aqualong. Why not? How about, see if I can get this on here. Locomotive Breath. Let's see here.
shuffling madness of the locomotive breath runs the all-time loser headlong to his death. Oh, it feels the piston scraping, steam breaking on his brow. Old Charlie stole the handle, and the train it won't stop. Oh, no, it could slow down. Sees his children jumping off the stations one by one. His woman and his best friend in bed and having fun. Oh, he's crawling down the corridor on his hands and knees. Oh, Charlie stole the handle, and the train it won't stop going. No, it could slow down. Yeah. The silence howling catches angels as they fall, and the all-time winner has got him by the balls. Oh, he picks up Gideon's Bible, open at page 1. I thank God he stole the handle, and the train it won't stop. Oh, no, it could slow down. 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 No, it could slow down.
All right, there you go. I can handle a little Jethro Tull every now and then. All right, I got another audio comment. Do I? Think I do. Let me see here. Before I play another audio comment, I think I would like to wish rest in peace to Grant Hart from Husker Du. Grant Hart was the drummer for Husker Du. I wasn't a huge Husker Du fan, but I do have a few of their albums on vinyl. He was the drummer, and I believe he was openly gay. I don't know if he was openly gay, but and it came out. It turned out that also Bob Mould is also openly gay. Maybe I probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so don't even listen to what I just said because I'm probably wrong, and I'll probably offend somebody by saying that. But anyway, Grant Hart, rest in peace. He wasn't very old, and I don't know how he died, but rest in peace, Grant Hart. I'm going to play a song from Husker Du that Grant Hart wrote and sang. This is from Flip Your Wig. I have, on vinyl, I have Flip Your Wig. I have Candy Apple Gray, which is, Flip Your Wig is their I believe it's their last SST album on SST Records. I bet you Greg Ginn made a lot of money off Husker Du because he probably sold their cattle or their deal to Warner Brothers. But I have that. I have Flip Your Wig on SST Records. I have Land Speed Record, which is also on SST Records from 81. That might be their first one. And then I also have Candy Apple Gray, which is their first, I think it's their first Warner Brothers records. I have just about all of them on the MP3s, but these are what I have on vinyl. So I'm going to play something that Grant Hart wrote and sang. This song is called Green Eyes. Let me see if I can find it here. I got to climb up here to the turntable. This is the thing about playing vinyl. You gotta stretch and do shit. But obviously, there's the third to the last song. See if I can find it on here. Hold on. Okay, let me turn it back up. And I drop the needle. All right. Here we go. All right. Hopefully it's on the right. That is not the correct song. Okay, let's get it to the correct song if we can find it here. Okay, yeah. Yes. All right. What a mess. There you go. Grant Hart, rest in peace. And it turns out I was completely wrong and idiotic. He was not openly gay. He was actually married. He had a wife and a son, and he even had a granddaughter. And he died of liver cancer at age 56, which is pretty close to my age. That sucks. The thing about Husker Du, I never saw them live, but they had good songs. They actually had really good songs. But what made their songs not as good was the pretty bad production. The records that I have are both produced by Bob Mould and Grant Hart. Those are the two major main songwriters of the band, or a three-piece band. But the dynamic, just the production on their records was kind of not that good. Even when they went to Warner Brothers, Candy Apple Gray, the production's not good. The drums sounded weak and no real dynamics, and they sounded pretty much like demos. But rest in peace, Grant Hart, talented guy. I don't know what he did after. I guess he did solo shit after Husker Du. I did not keep up with him that well. But rest in peace, Grant Hart. from Husker Du. I heard that Bob Mould is playing in Hardly Strictly Bluegrass as well here. And I heard he lives in San Francisco, so I do know he is openly gay. All right, another audio comment. I believe this is from Todd Cunningham as well.
Michael, Todd Cunningham.
Hey, Todd.
Friend of the show.
Hey, Todd.
How you doing?
Super great. Couldn't be better.
Calling again for another show review. I just saw Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers at the Golden One Arena in Sacramento.
Yeah, Eric Mortensen invited me to go see Tom Petty with him at the Berkeley Community Center or somewhere in Berkeley, and I couldn't go because I was flying out that next morning super early for my vacation. I wanted to go to that. I heard it was good.
It was a makeup from last Friday. They were supposed to play in 825, but Tom had laryngitis, so the show was canceled. And I was really bummed because my wife and I were supposed to go together, but because of his laryngitis, she's out of town, so I went with my friend Tom again that I just mentioned on the last show review. I was very excited to see Tom Petty. I've seen him 3 times before. It's been a while since I've seen him. The opening band was this group called The Shelters. They were kind of the same kind of Americana group that Tom does. Apparently Tom had produced the album. Wasn't really that excited about him. Didn't really care. I actually ended up buying a shirt during their set. I had heard that that Joe Walsh was part of the tour, and I would have loved to see them instead of The Shelters. But anyway.
Maybe he couldn't. I don't know. I think Joe Walsh played with him at Berkeley.
Started the show with "Rocking Around with You" from the first album.
I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
Next was Mary Jane's Dance.
Last Dance to Mary Jane.
Then he went into "You Don't Know How It Feels."
You don't know how it feels.
Then he went into "Forgotten Man" from their latest CD, "Hypnotic Eye," that came out 3-4 years ago. Went into "Breakdown."
It's alright if you love me. It's alright if you do. All right.
Then it went into "I Won't Back Down."
And I won't back down. Won't be. I like that one.
Which is dedicated to the disaster in Houston.
I'd like to dedicate this to all the people in Houston.
Went into "Free Falling," went into
"And I'm Free,"
which I was excited about. It's a song he doesn't play very often. It was from the "She's the One" soundtrack.
Wait a minute. I'll back that up a minute.
Falling went into "Walls," which I was excited about. It's a song he doesn't play very often. It was from the "She's the One" soundtrack.
I don't know that one.
Next went into "Don't Come Around Here No More."
Don't come around here no more. I like that one.
Then he went into 3 songs from the Wildflowers album, which is one of my favorites of his. "Good to Be King," "Crawling Back to You,"
don't know that
and then the title track "Wildflowers."
I don't know that one.
Then he went into "Learning to Fly."
Don't know
"You're
that
So
one.
Bad" from Full Moon
Don't
Fever.
know that one.
"I Should Have Known It" from the Mojo
Don't know
CD.
that one.
"Refugee," "Running Down."
If you don't have, I like that one.
"Dream." Then he
"Running Down the Dream."
Then the encore was "You Wreck Me," and then ended the show with "American Girl."
No Refugee.
Tom sounded great, and I was very excited, like I said, to see them. Mike Campbell, the guitar player, sounded
shredding guitar player, way underrated.
This is their 40th anniversary tour, so who knows if they'll tour ever again.
They will.
He had 2
Trust
backup
me,
singers
they will.
that were sisters, and they sounded great, and they also looked great. So that's it. Talk to you later.
All right.
Stay
Thank
frosty.
you, Stay frosty, friend. All right. Thank you to everybody who left audio comments and show reviews. It was nice talking to the voicemails. I really appreciate you calling, friends. You, too, can leave me a show review or audio comment. Area code 706-621-ROCK. That's area code 706-621-7625. Or do what I would prefer you do because the Skype voicemail sucks ass. Record an MP3 on your phone. Email it to me to rockandrollgeek@gmail.com or put it on the Facebook. Send me a direct message on Facebook and leave it. Or put it up on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group if you want to. All right, I'm going to close out now with one more song from the vinyl. Also died while I was on a break, Dave Lubeck from Molly Hatchet. Dave Lubeck was one of the founding members. He was the guitar player. Danny Joe Brown was the original singer, and he died several years ago. Banner Thomas, the bass player, died a couple years ago. I actually had one of his bass cases, a big Anvil Road case that said Molly Hatchet on it. Last I heard, he worked at a 7-Eleven, but Dave Lubeck was in and out of Molly Hatchet even till he died, I think. I saw Molly Hatchet, well, I saw them a long time ago, right after the Leonard Skinner plane crash happened. Was about the time that Molly Hatchet's album was coming out. The first album came out in like 78. That's about when the plane crash was. What was the plane crash? 77 or something like that. But shortly after, Molly Hatchet's debut album came out, and they played a place called the Jacksonville Civic Auditorium. And I went to that show, and it was sold out. It was packed. And I also saw Cheap Trick play that same venue, and I think Dave Lubeck got on stage and played with Cheap Trick. Went to the Laughlin River Run once and saw Molly Hatchet. They were playing in the parking lot. I was seeing my good friend Joe Klein. They were playing in the parking lot, and I had just interviewed some people from Joan Jett's band because she was playing down the street at another casino. But Molly Hatchet was playing in the parking lot, and Dave Lubeck was on guitar. Great guitar player, actually. He was the founding member of the band and one of the main songwriters, I think. So rest in peace, Dave Lubeck. I'm going to play something that is not very well known from the first album, which is just called Molly Hatchet. All their albums have the cover art by that guy Frank Fanzetti or something like that. I don't know what the guy's name is. Frank Fernetta or something like that. But there's always the guys, the Viking-looking guys on horses. Really good art, actually. It's kind of became Molly Hatchet's brand. But I'm going to play something from their album to close out called Big Apple. Before I play that, though, I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for sticking with the Rock and Roll Geek Show. I can't promise every show will be great, friends. I can't. As a matter of fact, I can pretty much guarantee you that they're not all going to be great. But one thing I can promise you is they will be honest, and even if it offends some people, which I can't imagine how it would offend anybody, but somehow it seems to manage to occasionally. And if it does, that's just the way it goes, friends. I'll make no apologies anymore. But thank you for sticking with the Rock and Roll Geek Show. I appreciate it, friends. And you stick with me, I'll stick with you. All right, let's make a deal. A deal. All right. Here's Molly Hatchet. Let me see if I can drop the needle on the thing here. Big Apple. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, area code 7, you know how to contact me. rockandrollgeek.com is where you can find the show. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. Here's Molly Hatchet. We'll talk to you sooner than 3 weeks, I promise, friends. I got to turn it up. Okay, let's try it again. Thanks for listening, friends. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks for listening. Here's Big Apple. We will talk to you very, very soon. I'm going hunting on the 1st, but I'll try to do a show before I go.
That's right.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.